In the heart of the Sahel, where the wind carried whispers of ancient traditions, Rukuyatu, a striking Fulani maiden, sat on a wooden stool under the shade of a baobab tree. Her amber eyes sparkled as she brushed her long, dark braids. Suitors often came from far and wide, captivated by her beauty and the tales of her wit. But Rukuyatu's heart was restless, torn between her desires and the weight of her people's customs. Her family had announced her sharo, the public flogging ceremony that tested a suitor's strength, endurance, and love. Only the man who could endure the pain without flinching would win her hand. Rukuyatu had watched this ritual many times before, where young men stood shirtless, facing the whip while the crowd cheered. Some faltered, others endured, but none had yet claimed her heart. But this time was different. Malik, the shy cattle herder, had declared his intention to marry her. He wasn't like the others, he was quiet, humble, and more interested in his flock than village gossip. While other suitors boasted of their bravery, Malik's love for Rukuyatu was expressed in small, thoughtful ways, like the gourd of fresh milk he left at her doorstep or the flowers he braided into her hair during festivals. The morning of the sharo arrived. The village square was bustling with people, the air buzzing with anticipation. Rukuyatu stood by her family, dressed in her finest attire, her heart pounding. Malik stepped forward, his slender frame almost dwarfed by the other suitors. The village elders, holding the ceremonial whips, gave him a sharp look. "Do you understand the terms, Malik?" the elder asked sternly. "I do," Malik replied, his voice steady. The first lash struck, and Malik flinched. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Rukuyatu's chest tightened. Could he endure this? Another lash came, and this time Malik straightened his back, refusing to yield to the pain. Each strike was met with silence from Malik, but Rukuyatu could see the beads of sweat forming on his brow, the silent struggle in his eyes. When the ordeal was over, Malik collapsed to his knees, his back bloodied but his spirit unbroken. The crowd erupted into cheers, acknowledging his bravery. Yet, amidst the noise, an elder stepped forward, raising his hand to quiet the crowd. "Malik," the elder began, his voice heavy with tradition. "You have proven your strength. But the true test of love is not in enduring pain but in understanding the will of your bride." All eyes turned to Rukuyatu. This was her moment to speak. Tradition demanded she accept Malik, yet her heart felt a strange pull. She stepped forward, her voice clear but gentle. "Malik," she said, kneeling before him. "You've endured for me, but I do not wish for a husband who suffers to prove his love. I want a partner who values peace, understanding, and kindness. Your bravery today was in your heart, not in the whip." The crowd gasped. Breaking such a tradition was unheard of, yet there was wisdom in her words. The elders conferred briefly, then nodded. "This, too, is a test of love," the eldest declared. "And Rukuyatu has shown us a new path." From that day forward, the village began to rethink its customs. Malik and Rukuyatu were married in a simple ceremony, their union celebrated not with pain but with joy and song. And as they sat beneath the baobab tree, watching the sun dip below the horizon, Rukuyatu knew she had not only found love but also changed her people's story forever. As the sun dipped low over the Sahel, a dust cloud rose in the distance. The village square, still lively from Rukuyatu and Malik's joyous wedding celebrations, fell silent as a group of men on horseback approached. At the forefront was Umaru, a tall, imposing figure clad in the military regalia of a Fulani soldier. His piercing gaze scanned the crowd until it settled on Rukuyatu, standing beside Malik. The murmurs grew louder as villagers exchanged worried glances. Umaru was no stranger to them. He was the son of a revered warrior and had left the village years ago to serve in the Fulani cavalry. It was whispered that before his departure, Rukuyatu's father had promised her hand in marriage to Umaru as a gesture of goodwill between their families. Umaru dismounted, his movements sharp and deliberate. "Rukuyatu," he began, his voice heavy with authority, "I hear you've married this herder while forgetting the promise made to me. Have you forgotten the bond our families share?" Rukuyatu stepped forward, her heart pounding but her gaze steady. "Umaru, I have not forgotten. But times have changed, and I have chosen Malik. My heart belongs to him. Umaru's expression darkened. A promise is a promise, he said, his voice rising. You are mine by right. Malik, though smaller in stature, stepped in front of Rukuyatu. She is not a prize to be claimed, Umaru. Her choice matters more than any promise made without her consent. The tension crackled like a dry storm about to break. Umaru sneered, drawing his sword. You dare challenge me, a soldier of the Fulani cavalry. The elders intervened, forming a barrier between the men. Enough, the eldest boomed. This is not the way of our people. We will settle this dispute with reason, not violence. The villagers gathered in a circle as the elders deliberated. Umaru argued that the betrothal was binding, while Rukuyatu countered that she was not consulted and her heart had chosen another. Malik spoke only to reaffirm his love for her, refusing to be baited into anger. Finally, the eldest rose, his voice calm but firm. Umaru, the betrothal was made in your absence, and though it carries weight, it cannot override the will of the bride. Our traditions honor choice and respect. Rukuyatu has chosen Malik, and her decision must be upheld. Umaru's face twisted with rage, but he knew better than to challenge the council openly. This is an insult, he spat. You have humiliated me. But mark my words, this insult will not be forgotten. He turned sharply, mounting his horse. With a final glare at Malik and Rukuyatu, he rode away, his men following behind. The village remained quiet for a moment before erupting in cheers. But Rukuyatu and Malik knew this was only the beginning. Umaru's parting words were a shadow over their happiness. That night, as they sat together under the baobab tree, Rukuyatu whispered, Malik, do you think he will return? Malik took her hand, his gaze steady. If he does, we will face him together. Love is not without challenges, but together, we are stronger. Their resolve deepened, and though they did not know what the future held, they were ready to protect their love against any storm that came their way. The story of the Fulani bride's choice, a love that defied tradition, carries several morals such as respect for individual choice. Love and marriage should be based on mutual consent and personal choice, not just traditions or promises made without the individual's involvement. True love is sacrificial and enduring. Malik's endurance in the sharo ceremony and his willingness to protect Rukuyatu demonstrate that love is proven through actions, not just words. Traditions can evolve. While traditions hold value, they should be flexible to adapt to fairness, respect, and changing times. Courage to stand for what is right. Rukuyatu's decision to choose love over obligation highlights the importance of standing firm for one's beliefs despite societal or familial pressure. Unity is strength. Malik and Rukuyatu show that standing together against challenges strengthens relationships and resolves conflicts. Authority must be balanced with justice. The elders' decision to honor Rukuyatu's choice instead of blindly following tradition underscores the importance of wise and just leadership. These lessons emphasize the value of love, respect, and personal integrity in overcoming obstacles and fostering meaningful relationships. Thank you for watching.